Today, let's discuss something on the Scrumban. Sounds funny? No, because we are combining two different ideologies, methodologies, framework of Agile, right? That is Scrum and Kanban. If we put both these together, what will happen? Let's see. Okay, so what is Scrumban? Normally we know these are the two different methodologies under one umbrella of Agile, Scrum and Kanban. I hope why I am taking to Scrumban, all of you towards Scrumban, because just assuming we know and we have been working, few of us are working in Scrum, few of us are working in Kanban. But if, when both of the team or both of the team members coming together in one project and they have to deliver a project where we have mix and matches of the Scrum and Kanban processes, but we have to deliver by taking something and leaving something behind. Okay, so let's start. So what is Kanban? So this is a hybrid model to help transition from Scrum to Kanban and vice versa. As I told, right? If you were working on the Scrum and few of your teammates or the friends, they are working on Kanban. But now both of you have to work together for one particular project. So there we have to work hand in hand by seeing the cultures, by seeing, adapting those coming from the different backgrounds of Scrum and Kanban. Someone from Scrum are coming with story point and the estimations, those religious processes and the structure. Kanban, without those things, they are still delivering their projects. So now, if both of us or both of the teams have to come together and collaborate with each other and deliver something. That's why this Scrumban, now new technologies, new methodologies of Scrum and Kanban, we are putting and keeping on the table to see how it looks. And minimize the batching of work. This all kind of processes in Scrum, all kind of processes and the dashboard filling in the Kanban. If we put together, then how it looks, how the pull-based system means whenever it is required, those stories, whenever it is required, those tasks, we will take it as pull-based request and then work together until unless it gets completed. Okay, it is not time boxed. First of all, it is not story point based. Okay, so let's see more on the Scrumban. Both the differences, we can see the Scrum and the Kanban in between. The origin, the software development, where we have seen normally the Scrum, but the Kanban, where we have seen previously, few years back, because nowadays, of course, in the software industries, in the applications of the software, wherever we are delivering and development happening, there also we are seeing the Kanban, but it came from the manufacturing industry where the lean processes had been following to minimize the wastage. We know the principle and the main motto of lean is to keep the wastage low or zero, right? So that's why the manufacturing industry, they were following the lean process and the Scrum software development. Then where we can keep these two things, Scrum normally we can follow in the regular or fixed length project where you have the time box. Within 2 months or 3 months, you have to deliver this item, task, epic or story. But if it is a continuous development happening, continuous enhancement happening, continuous bug fixes happening, right? So that time we can visualize those things and put it in a visual board, improve the workflows, and take it forward until unless it gets completed. So there we can go for the Kanban, where the continuous process flow should be implemented and followed up. Then what kind of task in Scrum? Normally we know there are 5 ceremonies: sprint, then sprint planning, daily Scrum, review, retrospective, all these things coming under the task or your regulatory task every day or every week we are following. The team is following for the Scrum. The Kanban, nothing like only the daily Scrum should be there, but it is not like time boxed. It's a board and cards only. We know the Kanban, right? We know the Kanban having a board, visual board, where we can see the work in progress task will be there and it's written in a card. Then the roles. Roles means what kind of roles the Scrum team will follow. There are, of course, 3 different roles: Scrum Master, Product Owner, and the development teams. It's hardly 6 to 9 people team. And opposite of the spectrum, we can see the Kanban. There is no specific role. Every individual will play whatever their role they want, kind of development. If they want to play today a Scrum Master kind of role, or the kind of project manager role, or there is no such project manager, I should not tell, but yeah, the leader role, or they want to run the today's Scrum call, right? So they can do it. No specific role in the Kanban. And then what kind of metrics we can take out from the Scrum and Kanban? In the Scrum, we can see the velocity, right? And the Kanban, throughput. Velocity, I hope you guys know, but still I'll just tell you what is velocity. Velocity is in total number of sprints. Suppose there are 3 sprints to cover your all the development work to be completed. Then you completed 90 stories total. There might be 5 or 6 developers in different sprints. So then total 90, then divided by 3 sprints means 30. 30 stories, or if you completed story points, in terms of the story points, 90 story points, then 30 story points will be means divided by 3 sprints will be 30 story points will be your velocity. So that is actually your kind of, that is your team's capacity they can deliver. So for this historical value or data, we can take it forward to measure or to estimate the next level of project, same kind of next level project where same kind of developers also with the same skill can be engaged. And throughput, Kanban will be having throughput, because throughput you will not be kind of time box. So how we can do it with throughput? So if suppose 90 story points, again kind of same thing, 90 story points complete, or 90 story, but rather I can tell it, suppose a 30 story, right? So 30 story in 3 months you completed. So weekly your Kanban throughput will be 30 divided by, suppose 3 weeks, 30 stories means 10. 30 divided by 3. So 10 will be your Kanban throughput for your team. Now coming to the response to the changes only after completion of sprint. So after review and retrospective, here we can see, right? Review and retrospectives are the 2 different ceremonies, and of course the mandatory ceremonies of Scrum. After that, only 2 weeks or 3 weeks, how many days of Scrum you are, or your team or your organizations are following. On basis of that, when you are done with the development part, then the review and retrospective on the last day, once it is completed, then only any changes, any kind of enhancement or any kind of changes request came from the customer, then you can take those changes for the next level of implementation. You can do it after the completion of sprint. This after review of your code, or after review of your development part, or your product backlog, or the Scrum backlog. But here in Kanban, mid of stream, anytime you can respond to the changes, whatever coming, the requests are coming from the customers. So mid of the stream, you can take the changes and try to implement. Next, we can check the mixed features in Scrumban. So both of the things we are putting together, right? Scrum and Kanban. So how the mixed features will be implemented and merged for your Scrumban. Scrum, we can see the process iteration happens at consistent intervals, typically at the end of sprint. There, in Kanban, pool-based mechanism on prioritized tasks. Means, as I told earlier, whenever the task is required to take it by the developer, they can take it after the last task which was assigned for the developer. If that is considered completed, then only they can take it. Then in the Scrum left side, what we can see, work is prioritized best. Means your product owner or your business team or your leaders, they have prioritized, or the from the request has come from your customers. On base of that, whatever the priorities have been given for those stories, you have to work on those. But in Kanban, work in progress with the limits. So if you can set the limit, or if you think that, okay, this much of story, only one story for each 5 team members is sufficient to work continuously or simultaneously for the 5 team members, then it's fine. If you want, somebody wants to take another story which is might be dependent with his or her story, then he can ask the higher manager, okay, can I take it? Or he can take it. But normally we will follow one limit progress, where the work in progress, that is called WIP, that is the one of the key metrics for Kanban to identify work in progress in the dashboard or the visual board, you can see. But there should be some limit how many stories each and every team member can take it, and should be under development under that particular engineer. If they want to take it, of course, they have to complete it, then take it. But of course, there are some corner cases, as I told. If that is the dependent cases, suppose they have to test one username and password to log in a web page, of course, they have to go for the testing, because with those conditions of the login, they just cannot complete the story until unless the testing also being done. Now, if I come to the third point, the entire team agrees and aligns on what is definition of done means. Means if we want to have complete or not complete a story, then what should be done? It should be moved to the done state. Means with whether the development of that story, it is acceptable by the definition of done. Means the acceptance criteria written by the product owner, reviewed by the team or the scrum master as well, which actually given by the customer or end user when the requirement gathered phase in the discovery phase happened, right? So those definition of done, once it is approved and it's matched, then only we can put it as a done. Here in Kanban, instead of that, visually represents the card. Means once the work in progress is completed, we can move it to the complete state by, of course, by checking whether the expectations, the expected criteria, it is in the acceptable mode or not. Okay. So these are the mixed feature we are putting together in the Scrumban. Then features unique to the Scrumban. What is the uniqueness in the Scrumban, which compared to the Scrum or Kanban or something else, XP or the peer programming of Agile, right, methodologies. So here is no team hierarchy. As I told, there will be no specific team structure or the designation. Everyone will be equal. No deadline. Of course, there will be, kind of deadline. You have to follow those deadlines to deliver, but it is not like that you can entire life you can work on a story. There is not like that, but it is not the time box. That is the main thing. It's not the time box. This no deadline. It's the inner meaning is there is no time box. Within 2 weeks, within 3 weeks, or within 1 week, you have to complete and take it the further one. No, if it is a continuous improvement, right? If it is a kind of UI UX designing, so you can do it until unless the customer is very happy or customer is satisfied. Then no story points. So of course, the bigger stories will take time, smaller stories will take less time, or kind of moderate stories will take kind of average time. That will be there. Those are under discussions or kind of considerations, but no story points will be given for any of the stories under Kanban. Same way, the Scrumban also follow the no story points. Then Scrumban process. What are the things we can follow to implement the Scrumban in our daily life of the project? Scrumban board, of course, this is the one of our main tool where we can have the Scrumban board. It's a visual board where we will be keeping our stories and moving forward with the WIP limit, means work in progress limit. If you are working on a story, that you have to move and mark as a WIP, and WIP limit will be set by your organizations or your team, that okay, each individual should have 1 or 2 stories, or totally 10 story at a time. It should be there in the board. Then the prioritizations. So if something is prioritized, you already have taken it. Then the next level, if something already got more prioritized, then you can stop this thing or put it on hold. Then you work on the other prioritized thing. It is not like that you will be only completing this thing and then go for the another one. But yes, you can make it a pause. You can make it block. Of course, it can be hold. So those things will be there, but prioritization will be done once you are working something, suppose, and but the next level of the prioritization already done. Then you can check it whether the next level prioritization what actually done for you, whether that is more priority than whatever you are doing now. So on that manner, you have to judge yourself, or you can talk in your daily stand-up call that which one I should take, because I can see the another one got prioritized, or I have to take it the next one, or I can continue the present one where I'm just working now. Those things every day we can call it out, discuss for a few minutes in a daily stand-up, normally in whatever we have in our Scrum or Kanban processes. So these are the 4 major kind of process we follow in the Scrumban. Then few pros and cons, of course, everywhere we do have the pros and cons. So here we can see the pros for the Scrumban. Save time for from waterfall. Of course, waterfall will be having a lot of designing part. And once the designing is completed and agreed upon, SOW is signed, then you cannot change, right? Those design, whatever the development is going on, let it be. Because of those changes, because of those process oriented and very much fixed mentality of those process to follow, and we cannot change all those things. So that's why we moved already to agile, and this is the another beauty of Scrumban, where we can save the time from where the waterfall could not do that much. Then the next one, the long-term project. If it's a long-term project, not the time boxed only, as I told, the enhancement project, right? Or it's a kind of testing or monitoring project, or if it is a kind of maintenance project, there you can do the long-term project can be followed through the Scrumban process. Next one, the more independency on individual. What does it mean? More independence on individuals means we do not have anyone to tell you that you have to take this as a priority. What is your status tomorrow? What is your status yesterday? What was your status? So nobody, no manager, no product owner, no Scrum master. So everyone will be individual. Every individual will play their role. Every individual will be equal here, so they can take after their prioritizations set for their own stories or by somebody else. Then again, they can take it and work till that particular story got over, and then you can take it the next one, right? So every individual is equal here. There's few cons, of course, there. So what are the little bit of problem here we can face it, because it's a new method, right? Once we are moving from Scrum to Kanban, or Kanban to Scrum, or directly from waterfall to Scrumban, so maybe for a few weeks or few months, it may be the problematic for the Scrumban. So for that reason, I always prefer, if someone from agile industry or one agile coach will be there to help you to understand, to set up and the roll out the Scrumban for a new team. So that will be, of course, good and an easy way by hand-holding for a few weeks at least to to implement the Scrumban. So this is the new method. Of course, there will be hiccups. Then lack of management, as I told in the earlier as well. There will be no manager, there will be no product owner. So you will be your own manager. So you have to a little bit cautious on that. What you are doing, what is your pace of work, and then last but not the least, it's again the not time box, so may not suitable for the critical delivery or the time box. So tomorrow I have to complete, or within 1 week I have to complete this particular delivery, or complete, you have to complete this page, or complete integration, or suppose you have to complete this agent workspace for any CRM, right? So that time it will be a little bit difficult if you are not following time boxed with 1 or 2 weeks, you have to complete it, right? So it cannot be no, because of the lengthiness, you cannot just prolong it and keep it in your bucket where you are just working. It should be delivered. So this is again the same as kind of lack of management due to that, and that not a time box. So you have to be very careful when you will be choosing the Scrumban process. And few tools and many more tools are available in the market. So few tools where personally I have worked and I prefer, of course, first one I have preferred the Jira, then the Trello, then I have worked on Asana. Those are the free tools also you can use for a few weeks, then you have to purchase. And then Rally, it is a very, very good tool. And Kanbanize, that is also a very good tool. And Smartsheet, and different any other tools also available in the market. I cannot keep everything here, but yes, we have the Zoho Sprints, Active Collab, then Lane Kit, Pivotal Tracker, Planbox, Taiga, Monday.com, Smartsheets, etc. Version 1. So Axosoft and all. So these are the few tools where you can manage your Scrumban project, the delivery, the work in progress status, the task and the epics, and then deliver towards the done status of your all the stories. I hope it will be kind of kind of helpful for your Scrumban process to follow and implement for your agile methodologies and agile framework to implement for any new project. And also many more those guides and kind of documents are available. And of course the master one I should and I would prefer, that is agile methodologies, and the Scrum guide always I prefer to refer, and I recommend that the Scrum guide, because that Scrum guide will give you the Scrum, at least the Scrum process, and from there also we have the Kanban. Both the things actually merge together here, so you can go for those Scrum guide as well as the different agile methodologies. And I hope this discussion and the small my handout will help you to deliver the Scrumban process and the deliver your work in the agile industry. So I hope it will be helpful, and thank you so much for your time, and thank you so much being with us. Happy learning and happy agile methodologies learning. Thank you so much.